After a pair of road wins last week, the Badger volleyball team returns to the UW Fieldhouse this weekend. Badgers will host Rutgers on Friday at 7 p.m. and then Maryland on Sunday at 1 p.m. Head coach Kelly Sheffield is here. We'll have some opening comments and take questions.
It was a tough week. Northwestern, Illinois, two really good teams on the road, and I thought the Northwestern match, I thought it was, we got very balanced. I thought Kelly Bates in particular stood out that match and really played well. I thought we served the ball really well. Illinois, probably one of the toughest environments I've been in, certainly the loudest probably environment that I've ever been in, and we came out and executed the first couple games and got our tails kicked in Game 3 pretty handily, and we came back and refocused in Game 4 and came up with what I thought was a huge win, and love the way that we bounced back after that third game. I thought we showed a lot of toughness. I thought our setter, I thought was really drove and willed our team. I thought it was a great performance by her. So we're excited about this week. We're first of all to get a full week of practice. We haven't been able to do that the past couple weeks because we've been playing on Wednesday nights. And second of all, be able to play Rutgers and Maryland, for the first time. And so we're excited to have them in the field house.
Dennis?
You've been on this murderer's run of a schedule since your trip to Seattle. Now you're playing the two teams, new kids on the block. They're winless in the conference. Do you worry that your team might take a breath? And what do you do to combat any mindset like that?
Well, Sundays, yesterday was our off day. That was the day to take a breath. And I know a lot of them went out to the women's soccer game and supported them, and great weather out there. But the time we get going here about 3 o'clock, they better be ready to get after it. I'm not really worried about it too much. That hasn't been kind of their deal in the past, and we haven't seen Rutgers, but we saw 2 matches of Maryland when they were out there out there in Seattle, and they're very athletic, they're very talented, and they gave Purdue all they could handle the other day. Purdue's the only team in the conference that hasn't lost yet, and so I think they're going to have our attention.
Dennis?
How hard is it with the 2 new teams to get as familiar as you might be with teams you've played throughout?
Well, we'll have every match that they played. I mean, that's kind of the Big Ten agreement is you share every single match. So everything that they've done, we'll be able to see. You don't have that memory of what people were last year, but I mean, we'll be, by the time the match gets here, we'll be plenty familiar with them.
Eric?
After your team has experienced a couple of losses in a row, they bounce back with 3 wins. Where do you feel like this team's psyche is or their confidence is right now?
Well, the 2 losses were against 2 top 5 teams in the nation, so it wasn't that we had this dry spell and now we're starting to get hot or anything. The level of competition probably dictated that a little bit. I think this is a resilient bunch, and. I think they were really down after those 2 losses, and they got back in the gym. I think there was even stronger focus, stronger will. I thought we saw it again against Illinois. You lose that game, you don't just lose, but we got outscored 14 out of the last 15 points in that game. I mean, that's an embarrassment, and and that really woke up an already pretty boisterous crowd, and. I thought we got right out in Game 4 and got right back to work, and so I think that's the thing that I'm learning about this team and the players on this team is that they may get knocked down, but they don't stay down for very long.
Brian?
Kelly, I don't know if you can answer this question, but how difficult is it to win 3 straight matches in this league?
I don't know if we did it last year. I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's really tough. It's 2 of those things on the road. I think I don't know if we've ever gone to Illinois and Northwestern You know, those two are usually travel partners. I don't know if we've ever won that, those two. I know Illinois, they've won, I think, 9 out of the last 10 matches. Yeah, you get on any type of winning streak in this league, and you're probably accomplishing something. So, you know, the trick is, you know, can you be consistent over time? You know, and that's kind of the big thing that we've stressed is what's in front of you. But, you know, we've responded appropriately.
You mentioned resiliency earlier. Does that come from you, or are there certain leaders on the team that are more of the rah-rah types?
I think probably about every coach in every sport is resilient. The key isn't whether the coach is resilient and can bounce back. The key is whether the players do. And usually that comes not only within, but it comes from the leadership. And so, you know, it's are the leaders preaching the same message as the coach? I think that's critical. You know, is that gap, is that bridge really, really long between your leaders and your coaching staff, or is it short? Usually our better teams, and I would think that's the case in most sports and most programs, when that bridge is really short, then you've got and everybody's on the same page, you've got the ability to accomplish some special things. If there's a big gap between the coach and the leaders, that's when miscommunication happens. That's when people go off and they do their own thing. It's those have usually been my toughest teams, is usually when those leaders are totally different page than me. The group here, I think we've got some great leaders, and you know, they've done a really, really good job of making sure that the players away from the practice are doing and saying the right things, and they're coming to practice in the right mindset.
Anything else for Coach?
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, Kelly.